Hello there and welcome here at Professor Herman Manyora's channel. My name is Simon Irungu, coming in with the big question. And I'm joined by the man himself, Mr. Herman Manyora. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
You're looking sharp as always.
Sharp as always.
Have you been?
Full of vibes.
How's your week been?
Wonderful. You know, I'm a man who I don't require a lot. I'm not ambitious. I'm just a simple human being. I don't eat meat. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I'm just a simple Kenyan.
Wow, and people think with all the money that
No, I don't even have money. I own nothing in this world.
so
yeah.
you're just a poor man.
Yeah, I'm just a not. Let me not say I'm poor.
Okay.
I'm just an ordinary Kenyan.
Okay, so the question for today is on crowds, okay? And the
Yes.
question is the idea of crowd for hire or renting crowd a reality?
Let's say depending on what you mean by hiring, but certainly there are few politicians who can pull a crowd without deliberate effort. That effort may amount to using some money. Certainly there's logistics about it. So crowds will rarely just happen unless you are a crowd puller. Unless you are someone like Raila who has very organic crowds. Almost every other politician has to do some little organization. And the organization brings an element of expenditure with it.
And when did this idea of paying people to attend rallies come into play?
I think the moment we monetize our politics, let me give you a brief history. Let me take over from Raila. You know, in 1963, when we were getting independence around that person, Uhuru Nakazi, everybody was excited. When I was growing up, even Harambee building schools, everything was voluntary, things were being done because people had an interest in what was going on. The first MPs of 63 were people walikuwa wanaitwa watetezi, people who fought for independence. They were vocal. People had heard about them in the fight for independence. In 1969, the election of 1969, there were also people who had fought for independence. Bado ni watetezi. People who really had something to do with our independence and with the new independent country, trying to work for it, build schools. There were people you knew. Then come 1974. And two things happened. The first thing was, in 1974, there was so much harambe in the country. So much harambe. Fundraising. You go to Achieve, there's a receipt book for this project, self-help. The most popular was, of course, Gatundu self-help. Kenyatta's place, Mama Ngina Children's Home. Then they grew everywhere. We got into trying to build these technology centers. Riat, Weko, Kimathi Institute, KIST. So there was so much fundraising. Now political crooks took advantage of that. And the money came into Kenyan politics. So all the politicians who were good people were removed from parliament in 1974, leaving moneyed people who knew how to dish during Harambes. So certainly, because those days, all elections up to around 88, there were joint rallies. If you wanted to be an MP of Hamisi, you attended joint rallies. And the DO and the DC were organizing those rallies. Then they will ballot who will speak first. So you could not have access to the crowd. You are all of you put together. So what people now began to do is to hire certain people and put them within the crowd so that they may cheer you and as they cheer others. That's how now it began. So then it went on. Now here we are. People are using boda everywhere you see. I was coming to Nairobi from Western. I passed through Kapsabet. I tried to get fuel, petrol station. The one I like, I only do with Shell. I hope I'm not marketing them.
You're marketing. I think they have to pay something later for that.
So I don't fuel anything other than Shell. So I went to Shell. Do you know what was happening? There were border people there. Wamekuja kufuel mafuta ya bure. They are going for a politician's political rally. I had to wait like an hour because I couldn't come to Nairobi because I was almost on an empty tank. So today, therefore, if you want to know crowds have been ferried, you will just see border boys. 200, 300, 500. They are all there.
John Paul Mwirigi, Igembe South MP. It says it's a political accident how he got into power. So for someone aspiring to become a politician in the future and he does not have the capacity, how does he maneuver these campaigns?
It's not in the Kenyan politics, let's be honest. To do Kenyan politics without money is a problem. First of all, to become an MP or anything else, you need a lot of money to mobilize and even sometimes in some cases even buy voters. this piga line, wanaume, vijana, wamama, you know, the kind of thing is everywhere. And we see it on TV.
Okay, let me hold you at that. You said buying voters. Yes. Is that also a reality? Do people buy voters? How does it happen?
It's a reality. In some places, let me tell you, if you go to a polling station just before, an hour before the closing time, you'll see people milling around and they are showing you, me have not voted, me have not voted, me have not voted. Sijakula kitu ya mtu. And sure enough, if you give them 50 shillings, 100, they go and vote for you.
Okay.
Yeah, some politicians wait until 4, around 4 o'clock. They send their agents around polling station. They find fellows who have not voted. They say, me, I'm not, sijakula kitu ya mtu and I'm not voting. You give them and he goes to vote for you. And so that's how you might find a very useless politician. Let me use that. A very useless candidate. You find he had 600 votes. Where did he get it? Okay. Where did you get that kind of number from?
So that means it's all about...
It works.
It's all about the money that someone has.
People pay money.
Okay.
And a politician will tell you, I'm going to spend 10 million, but I'm sparing 3 million for the last night. What does he mean by that? The last night.
He's going to buy votes. And other people say that people are mobilized, young people are mobilized. They are, let's say they go to a certain region, they buy alcohol for the young people at that area so that they cannot participate.
They cannot wake up. It happens.
They cannot wake
up.
You
go to your opponent's strong hall and you pour money there.
Okay.
You liaise with the brewers, okay. Changa and the rest. Young men drink the whole night. Tomorrow they can't wake up.
Okay, now back to the previous question. How do these new aspirants go about these campaigns?
They just have to understand the game. There are no two ways about it. Understand the game, but also we hope that through civic education and Kenyans are able to learn. They are beginning to see. They are suffering because they have refused to elect leaders. They should be able to see. Look at the price of commodities. They should not blame Uhuru. These things are passed in parliament by the people they elected. Ama huko na mafuta ikiongezwa ikawekwa VAT. Si ni wabunge walipitisha? Kwani ni Uhuru alipitisha?
No.
Si ni bunge. So I also hope people are going to learn that they are punishing themselves. When Manyora comes for elections and you say he doesn't have money, then you give Bush because he has given you money. Then don't complain when Bush goes to sleep in parliament. Yeah. I mean, we are hoping these things will change. But for now, if you want to run for election, be realistic about your chances in terms of, do you have the resources? Of course, there are rare, like those on Murigi, rare cases or instances where a poor man can sneak through. You must just be sneaking through. It's not the norm. The norm is you need some little money.
Okay, as a result of crowds being rented out, okay? Now we're also having the other parties renting people to go and disrupt rallies going on. Okay, now how do we stop this? How do we tackle this issue of people hiring people or crooks to go to rallies or to go to disrupt other rallies?
There are ways, for example, we need our leaders to preach decency, to tell young men, I want your votes, but also avoid these bad things, bad manner, throwing stones, hurling insults, heckling people. But we also want IBC. I keep saying IBC is failing. You need to have a forum in which you engage with the politicians, from the national level to the grassroots, in which they work as a team. They deal with certain aspects of the campaign as a team. There are 6 of us who want to run for a parliamentary seat in Langata, for example. We get together and agree on certain things and even have joint rallies and even call our agents and talk to them. Go to churches. Just say, these next 2 weeks, all of us are moving together.
Okay.
We are moving to centers. We are talking to border people as a team. We are talking to churches and mosques. We are talking to these matatu operators as a team, 6 of us in Langata.
Okay. I'm
Jalango, you are so and so, all of us. So these are some of the things we should do. And then finally, the law must also be allowed to work. Police must also be able to fish out some of these people. And once they identify them, the courts should also not just release them. They should make them face the consequences.
Okay, so what you're saying, there is law that is set to tackle this issue.
Yeah, the laws are there. You can't just heckle people.
Okay.
That's disturbance. There is a law under which you can be charged. So the police should arrest you. They should charge you. The courts should stop treating people with kids' gloves.
But in previous years, we don't see the law doing what it's supposed to do.
That's what I'm saying. Beginning with the police. The police, that they find it normal. Let me tell you, if you went to complain in a police station that your opponent is harassing you, they just laugh. They say, "Bwana, hiyo ni siasa." It is true, ni siasa, but the police must also know we rely on them for law and order. Okay. So they should arrest some of these people, ili iwe funzo kwa wengine. And when they go to court, the courts must also stop treating criminals like they have come for a Christmas party.
Okay.
No. If you are heckling people, if you are found with stones, some people are found with a pickup full of stones and pangas, machetes and rungus, and they are intercepted by police. Sometimes they are not charged. Sometimes they are taken to court by release. So we must know that we need to live in a civil society, in a civil arrangement. We need to have our politics must be civil, we must know that this is our country. We must know that small interruptions can lead to big interruptions. Big interruptions can even set the country on fire. Okay,
but do we really blame the young people for taking money to go and do whatever they are being paid to do? Do we really blame them?
There was a young man who was called Kurugat or so. They tough students, university students who used to be tough in the 70s. Okay. I think he was arrested and charged with sedition. I think the name was Kurugat or something. It was a Kalenjin name. He said, you do not blame the vultures for hovering around. You blame the state of affairs that caused a carcass to be there.
Okay.
So you cannot blame these young men wholesomely. I mean, just, we must also look at ourselves. Yeah. In what situation are they operating? What is the country like? There is a state of hopelessness in the country, born out of joblessness and so many and economic woes and so. So you cannot blame these children.
Okay.
They are operating within some reality, some context, and an environment in which if somebody gave you 200 shillings, you'll think it's a very big thing. Because maybe you have never seen 100 shillings for the last 2 weeks. And there is a guy giving you 200 just to shout.
Others giving 50
just
shillings.
To shout, or 50, just to shout. You'll shout. We don't encourage it, but it is there.
Okay. As you're starting the show, you said that only Raila is among the people who is able to pull crowds, okay? And Cleophas Malala, yesterday I was checking on Twitter, and I saw he was trending saying that only Raila has fanatic fans.
Which is a fact.
So now I'm wondering, isn't this going to bring in trouble to his camp where he is? Because he seems to be supporting the other party, yet he's on the other party.
No, I think he was just speaking. That I also appeared. It was a documentary.
Yeah, it was a documentary.
You saw me in that documentary. Yeah, we were just addressing the issue of crowds. And you don't need... Saying the truth, the problem with people... I even have friends. When you say something, they say you seem to be now, you are like this now. No! If Malala says that Raila is the only person who has fanatical support, it's just a fact.
Okay.
So so he should now say it is Mudavadi because he's innocent. How? Then Malala would not be saying the truth. What he's saying is true. There's only one politician in this country who has people who are willing to die for him. And they have said it. You saw Raila coming from the airport 2017.
Yeah.
You see those iconic images. They were the tear gas to prevent people going to the airport. They penetrated through the live tear gas. Those vehicles, those Soweto type of apartheid vehicles, carrying acid, spewing sewage, and those ugly looking vehicles that used to terrorize Africans in South Africa. We now brought them in here. You saw boys walking through them.
Okay.
So Raila has a fanatical following. So it is his gift from God, from his God. It's a gift he has. We may not rival him on that.
Yeah.
I am yet to see a politician who has such a fanatical following. And you must also remember, you may have a very big following in your William Ruto, but beyond your base, maybe your tribe, because we are a tribal nation, there will be very few people willing to sacrifice, including their life for you.
Okay.
Raila has people willing to sacrifice and even put down their life for him who are not Luos. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is true. Malala was only stating a fact.
2017, 2013, don't we see Jubilee having that crowd?
Jubilee had a crowd, but born out of the tribal thing that I'm talking about. Kumira, kumira, duraku, duraku.
Okay.
You know that kind of thing?
Yeah,
kumira, kumira, duraku, duraku.
Yeah.
Is a Kikuyu thing.
Yeah.
This is Udamaki is ours.
Okay.
We cannot allow it to go the side Kuria was talking about.
Okay.
So that's ethnic mobilization. In a charged political environment. They will come out, including those who are dying, willing to die before at least to come and vote for you, even before they die. But the environment is tribal.
Okay.
It is informed by tribe and the political tension, temperature of the time. Raila, anytime, any day, he has those people, and they are not Luos, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in the documentary that you appeared, I think it was on NTV.
Yes,
it's
yes.
a very interesting documentary. I think people should go and watch it.
Yeah.
It's in YouTube. And they were saying that it's very expensive to campaign, you know, to mobilize these crowds. For an MP, people quoting up to 1.5 million per day.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, how do these politicians get this money?
First of all, there are people who have money. Let's begin by saying an overwhelming majority of people who are using money for elections have stolen that money.
Okay.
So it's not money you have worked for. Let me tell you, ask these billionaires, money you have made, money you have earned, you have worked for, you are unlikely to splash it around.
Okay.
So majority of over 90% of people splashing money in the polls is because the money they stole from the public. They didn't work for it. Secondly, there are those who spend money knowing very well once they're in positions of leadership. For example, if you are an MP, immediately you have over 100 million CDF, immediately, at your disposal. So even if you spend 20, you utahakikisha the first year you get 10 out of the 100 plus. The second year you get 15, 20. So out of the 30 million you spend to be elected, CDF alone will give you 100 in the 5 years. So you have lost nothing.
Okay.
And sometimes when in committees, let's just be open, because these allegations have even appeared in Parliament.
Okay.
When you are MPs are members of at least 3 committees, why do they fight to become members of committees? Not because they want to work, because there are kickbacks. We know it has been said, including Parliament itself. Okay. It has been a subject. It's been tabled in Parliament. So they know they will make money from those positions. But don't rule out there is that rare woman, that rare young man, that rare guy who is in this thing for fulfillment,
Okay.
to actualize himself, to do what he thinks a person like him ought to make a contribution to society, and is willing to spend his own resources, even if he didn't steal the resources, so that he can make a contribution to the development of his society. Okay. There are few, but they are there.
Okay, let's wrap up the conversation with that. Well, I don't know how many of you have attended rallies that are going on all over the country. And if you have attended any, tell us down below the comment. What took you there? Is it the money? Are you there for, as the prof has said, is it for fulfillment? Well, tell us, you can share with us on the comment section. Well, that has been Simon Irungu here with the big question, with the man himself, Mr. Professor Herman Manyora. Till we do have this conversation again, do enjoy the rest of your day.